I was concentrating on my life and my job and my studies and nothing much religion. And when I finished my studies and started working as an accountant, as I read into religions, I found nothing. My conclusion is waste of time.
Religion's a waste of time.
That's correct. When I say religion, I'm talking about Hinduism.
Your dad didn't have any input on that?
I was away from home most of my life, so I had my independence.
All right. Well, you married a woman who had a very different perspective on this.
That's correct. She had been a very religious woman.
Fasting and observing.
All the rituals,
All
you
of the
name
rituals?
it. Yes,
You were a good husband. You tagged along to temple.
correct.
Did she know your heart wasn't really into it?
After some time, yes, she realized that.
Your wife is here today. It's going to turn out all right. It's going to turn out better than all right. March 31st, 2002.
Correct.
What happened?
31st March 2002, around 11 o'clock in the night, I had a severe chest pain. I thought it will go away, but it didn't. Around 1 o'clock, I was taken to the hospital. And there we were told it was a heart attack.
You shouldn't have waited.
I'm
just for anyone listening who has anything like this happen.
That's correct. I shouldn't have waited.
Severe damage.
It created a huge damage to the scar and my tissues. And that made the situation worse.
Now, surprise light in this darkness. Your wife's cousin, a born-again believer,
Correct.
came to the hospital
Correct.
and not alone.
No. He actually took us to the hospital that night.
I didn't know that.
Yes, because he was living closer to our home. So he took us to the hospital. And the good thing he did, he brought his pastor along with him.
You say good now.
I say good now, yes.
This is a man who talked to you about salvation, about redemption, about forgiveness of sins.
That's correct. Pastor Winston, I'm grateful to the Lord because he was used.
Even though you weren't really listening at that time.
I was not at all listening.
Just it's all about the truth here.
He visited almost every day.
Really?
I liked his presence, but all my mind is when I can get out of the hospital and get back to my normal life. That was it. But even now I remember him. Every time after the prayer, Pastor Winston will say, "Brother, there is nothing impossible for Christ." I still remember that.
It's a good thing that was planted, because you would have, just 3 weeks later, a second heart attack.
Correct.
And this was much more dramatic. So
Yes. I came home, and about 3 weeks later, I had the second heart attack. Paramedics were called in, and I was taken to the emergency.
You lost all your senses.
In that
you
process,
couldn't speak. You were
in that
completely
process,
immobilized.
I lost all my senses except I could think and I could hear.
Okay.
Other than that, I was a vegetable.
So when you heard the nurse complaining that she couldn't get a vein, what did the doctor say?
The doctor said, "We are losing him.
We're losing him anyway.
We are losing him anyway." The nurse was looking for the vein, I believe, to get the IV in. And I remember him saying very loudly, "We are losing him anyway."
How did you respond to that?
That is the time I went to Christ. That is the time I called on to him. At the moment when I called on to him, what I heard the doctor saying, he was on the right side of my head. He's coming back. He's coming back.
Your vitals were coming back.
He is coming back. That is what the doctor said. And that's all I knew.
You made a request when you called out to Jesus. What did you ask?
I asked him to look after my family.
Well, it's encouraging for many of us that the seeds sown by Pastor Vincent
Yes.
reached good soil. You knew who to call on in that moment. And the adventure that follows, I say adventure because the first big surprise is that you announced to your wife that you were going to follow this Jesus. You didn't really know what it was about or where it would take you. And your wife, who was very religious, a very committed Hindu, said, I'm going with you.
When I woke up, first person I saw was my wife. She was at my bed. And I told her what happened and what I heard. And I told her I want to follow Christ and see what it is. And obviously she told me she's coming along with me.
You read the Bible together, cover to cover, in 2 months.
Yes,
You found a church.
correct.
You had struggles with understanding of the message.
We studied the Bible because I was at home. We didn't have much to do. We studied the Bible cover to cover. New Testament was okay to understand as a story. Old Testament was,
A little more challenging.
it was very challenging. And we finished it in about 2 months' time, and we asked each other, is this all? At that time, we were looking, now there should be something more because my experience is real,
Your experience of Jesus.
is real.
Yeah.
And this book should be meaning something else, something more than 2 months reading.
Well, I'm happy to give credit. I'm going to have to fast track a little bit, but you turned on the TV, you found the People's Church broadcast, Living Truth.
That's correct.
You moved on to Dr. Larry Saunders and the Toronto Free Presbyterian Church, where you found community, correspondence course.
Yeah.
You would earn a master's degree in theology, ordained by the Evangelical Christian Church of Canada. Why don't you finish our segment with the scripture I know God put on your heart just for today?
It is on the Matthew. It is on the Matthew 11. I always remember this. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. For me, this is true, and He is faithful.